Welcome, friend. Welcome to your practice today. I've got kind of wild weekend hair and flowy pants on, so we're just going to roll with it. For this practice, you will need a block, and we're going to do one standing movement and then a couple things on the floor. You also might want to have a piece of wall or furniture to be nearby for some balance. Okay, so just have that block ready. You don't need it for this first piece. So we'll start on the feet, and you can just stand up if you're not standing already. Take a couple steps with a little step tap, shake your arms out, especially if you've been sitting or you just got up or the day's been going. This is an opportunity to feel yourself upright and orient to standing. And then take a moment to be in a steady place. Soften your knees a little bit, have your feet a little bit apart, hip width, or even a little wider if that feels good. And feel your full height, feel your three-dimensionality, feel yourself in space, looking out at your own horizon and feeling your breath through your nose. Just notice how you are right now, what feelings are here, what sensations, how's your body doing? This might be a pause at the start of your day or a pause during a busy day. It's great to have these moments of just noticing, asking, checking in like you would with a friend. Okay, so now you've got a little bit of a benchmark, some starting information. How's your breath? How are you relating to your body? And then you can check in at the end of practice. So this is where you might want to either be near a wall at your side or within arm's reach. We're just going to do some single leg movements. So tight rope walker arms, having the arms out to the sides can help too. All we're doing right now is simply lifting one knee and then the other. So a couple of things. We're lifting the knee without tucking under. So we're maintaining a really neutral pelvis, just like Tadasana, except for your leg is lifting. That also means that you're not lifting the hip. Your pelvis isn't swishing to one side or the other. Again, totally neutral, lifting side to side. So you can stay with these. They could be about hip height. They don't even have to be that high. I'm going to give you a couple of other options if you want to spice this up. You could lift a little higher and hold with one hand for a moment. Again, keep your full height, look out at your horizon, and then lower. Other leg, hold with one hand. Again, totally neutral pelvis, not tucking, not hitching that one side. And then release. You can do that again with one hand. Or maybe what would it be like to hold both hands and hug that knee as high as you comfortably can without lifting that hip? Just breathing here, Tadasana torso, Tadasana standing leg, and then release and try the other side. One hand, both hands, neutral pelvis, neutral level hips, but giving that leg a little bit more hug like you would on your back. And then releasing, shake that out. Okay, now a little bit of a lunge stance and a slightly wide, so kind of a split stance, a little bit wide left and right. Back heel is lifted, ankle is neutral, not turned in or out. Front foot is flat. Both knees soft. We're going to do a little bit of bounce here. So it can be a really light kind of shimmy bounce. Of course, if there's anything electric or sharp happening in the knees or ankles, you minimize the bounce or you slow it down a lot, make it kind of more helium or hot air balloon like. But if it feels good, it can be a little more peppy, a little more bubbly. Either way, just really nice hydration for your joints, for your fluids, lymph moving, circulating, breathing through your nose, let your head bobble around. And then exhale, come to a steady place, lean forward, push off with that back foot, come up, and change legs. So same thing, back heel is lifted, ankle neutral, a little bit of either a really slow kind of floaty bobble or more of a springy bounce. Again, it's not like my biggest lunge step back ever. It's a little bit short, a little bit wide, really, really solid and steady. It's really good to just let your innards jiggle a little bit, even to let your outwards jiggle, let your flesh jiggle and hang and be loose and soft. Keep breathing through your nose, teetering, losing your balance. It's all good, just come back. That wobbling is actually helping you figure out where center is. And then come to that steady place, lean forward, hinge forward, and then push off, step up. Okay. Now you can do everything that we're going to do next with both feet on the floor. I'm going to add a little bit of interest, if you're curious, if you're into it, with a block under the front foot. Okay. So it's long and flat in orientation so that your foot fits on it. If you have a really long foot, then just make sure your heel is on the block, even if some of your toes are off of the block. Or you could add another block and make a really long foot support. And then similar stance. So that back leg isn't too far back. It's, in a lunge, but not so far back. And it's a little bit to the side. Okay. Now you can have a little bit of bounce here, just settling back in, and then come to a steady place. You can have a hand on the wall. You could have your arms out. If you can spare your hands, put your hands on your pelvis, one in the front and one on the back, low belly and sacrum. And I want us to do some movement here from the pelvis. So with your back knee a little bit soft, come into more of, I'm going to call it a tuck, a little bit more of a tuck. You're not completely tucking over and rounding, but your tail gets really heavy and your pubic bone lifts up. Okay? Now, with your hands, untuck and hinge forward. Now you can straighten that back leg. Keep your front sitting bone pulling back. So again, like we did with the standing movement, the pelvis stays neutral left and right and up and down in orientation to the floor the whole time. With your hands, come back into the tuck, bend your back knee, and even though you're a little bit tucked under, you're not leaning back. You're still in that upright Tadasana kind of position. And then feel the untuck, tail goes back leg lengthens. Your shoulders and collarbones are wide, your neck is long, you're not rounding like a cat back. One more time like this, come upright into the tuck, bend the back knee a little bit, and then untuck, tail goes back leg long, shooting forward through the crown of your head. We're going to do 3 more. I'm going to give you an arm option. So as you come up, back into that tucked, if you want, lift your arms up. And then arms come forward and down, palms face forward now as you untuck and hinge. Back leg long, long neck, come up, tuck arms up. Okay, 2 more of each. The whole time, keep lifting out of the legs so you're not heavy on the legs. Last time, upright. Lifting out of the legs. This is really, really great for leg strength, hip strength, and of course, pelvic floor support. All right, and then arms come down. Lean forward, give a little hop up, and then step down off of that block. Ooh, take a little walk around in between sides here and notice, especially how that front hip feels, front leg, doing a lot of stabilizing work there. You can shake off your back foot. It was getting some good strengthening too, keeping that ankle neutral, heel up. All right, we're going to switch it to the other side. So again, you don't have to be on the block for this. The block is going to make it more challenging for sure. So you could have both feet on the floor. Front foot optionally coming on the block. Back foot hopping a little bit wide to that side. And you've got your starting lunge position. Start with neutral back ankle, heel lifted, both knees a little bit bent, and you're just settling in, breathing through your nose. And then again, one or both hands on the pelvis. Feel that your pelvis is neutral here. It's oriented forward and it's level left and right. We're going to maintain that the whole time. Lift the pubic bone a little bit up, and you might accentuate the bend in the back knee. You're going to feel most likely some sensation down the front of that thigh. Now untuck, tail goes back, hinging forward, lengthen your back leg, push down on that block under the front foot. Keep your chest wide, neck long. Now with your hands, feel the tuck, bend the back knee. You're not leaning back, you're just staying up over the pelvis. Keep breathing through your nose, untuck, come into the hinged lunge. Tucking. This is our last one here. And then untucking. Now we are going to do 3 more. So you can keep your hands here. You could come out and take a break and join me for the last 2. If you want to include the arms now, arms could reach forward or up in that split leg lunge, both knees bent. And then arms come down, palms face forward. That's going to help widen the fronts of the shoulders as you hinge forward, straighten the back leg. You're like a rocket here. You really have this telescoping feeling. And then from the tuck, try not to initiate with the torso, really initiate with the pelvis, and then the torso just follows. Hinging, untucking. Keep pushing the floor down with both feet. Last time into the tuck, dipping down, and only taking the arms up so high that the ribs can still stay neutral, shoulders are happy. Arms come forward. Last time into that hinge. Keep that front sitting bone pulling back. And then come back up. Hands to the hips. Lean a little forward. Hop that back foot up. Ooh, and then step down off of the block. You can nudge the block out of the way. We're done with it for now. And take another little walk. Keep breathing through your nose. Notice your 2 sides. Notice, sometimes it's helpful to notice parts. Okay, right hip. Okay, left hip. One foot, other foot. And then you can come into more of a whole, body as a whole experience or awareness. All right, we're going to come down onto the ground now. So you don't need any props for this, and we're going to be doing a bridge. So not necessarily having anything under the head unless you absolutely need it. Starting in constructive rest. And I said we're going to do a bridge, but we're going to do a happy baby first. So let both knees come in a little bit wide, and you can start with the knees more closed. So you're holding on to the fronts of the knees or maybe behind the knees, but not lifting the feet yet. Holding the knees wide and rocking side to side. Let your head be just bowling ball heavy here. Feel the width of the backs of the shoulders, the width of your ribs rolling across the back of your pelvis. Let your breath begin to soften naturally, just trusting the breath. And then start lifting the lower legs. So now the feet aim more toward or open toward the sky. And you can hold the legs in the same place as you were, or if you want to lift a little higher and reach for the calves or the ankles, might be fun up here to circle the ankles, wiggle the toes. The happiest baby. You can still rock. Keep those shoulders heavy. So if you're reaching so high that the shoulders lift and the chin starts to lift, hold a little lower on the legs and let the backs of the shoulders be on the floor. Now, as you rock a little bit to the right, let the left leg lengthen out any amount. And now that left shoulder might be off of the ground. And then rebend that left knee. Let that leg get heavy and rock you over to that side as the right leg gets a little bit longer. And then using the breath, rocking side to side one more time. Keep your head heavy, face soft, at your own pace. And then finally, one more breath in center in your happy baby. Just noticing how those deep hip creases feel, inner thighs, maybe even the glutes, the low back. And then release the legs and let your feet come to the floor. As we set up for a bridge, we're going to do a little bit of an unusual bridge. We're going to break some rules, which is always really fun. So your constructive rest or your bridge setup probably has your feet in line with your hips. Yeah? I want you to walk your feet, toe heel your feet away from one another, just a half toe heel. So not a big step out to each side, but just a half step out to each side. So now your feet are very slightly wider than your hips. And the last little rule we're going to break is we're going to turn the feet slightly out, slightly duck foot. All right, arms down at your sides. Keep your knees still over your heels or maybe a little bit in. Push the floor down. Keep your ribs really heavy so you're not doing a big rainbow bridge. I want you to feel a little bit of that tuck again that we were doing in the lunge. So like you're trying to curl your pubic bone up towards your navel. Ooh, strong legs here, yes? And then slowly lower down. Now keep your legs in this shape. Just bring them back in, kind of like the knee hug or even the happy baby. And then let them come back down to where they were for the bridge. Arms down at the sides, push the feet. Give a little bit of a long tail pull between the lower legs and lift. Slowly lower and let the legs stay mostly in this shape as they come up, and you might even use the hands to give a little support in happy baby. So we're going to do this as a bit of a flow. Legs come down. As you lift into bridge, you might even let the arms come up, maybe even overhead, and then arms and torso come down at the same time. And then legs lift up toward the knee hug or happy baby, and the arms come back up again, little bit of support. And then everything lands, feet and arms at the same time. So let's keep going with this. I'm going to be quiet so that you can find your own rhythm, alternating between this little duck-footed bridge and a little bit of a duck-footed happy baby. You might find that you fall in rhythm with your breath. You might find that you want to linger. in one shape or the other. Of course, if the duck feet or the wide feet don't work for you, just bring your feet into regular bridge. Let's do 3 more really slow rounds. Whenever you're finished with your last happy baby, you could linger there for a moment. You might lengthen one leg and then the other again. You might slide around in some other way, make circles, rock your head side to side, do anything that feels good here. And when you feel complete, bringing the feet back down for constructive rest. The knees might even rest in toward each other with the heels a little bit wide. Just take pause again, checking in and noticing what you feel. If the knees are together, let them separate a little bit. Rock your head side to side. Ripe melon, heavy head. And then coming into what is going to feel like a figure 4 with the either ankle. Actually, let's do this together. Let's do left ankle across in preparation for figure 4, but we're not coming into figure 4. Let both legs lower all the way over to the right until your left foot is on the floor. Arms out into a T. That bottom leg, it just lands. It might self-adjust a little bit, but let it be heavy. Now, the movement that I'm interested in is a little bit of butterfly wing of this left knee. So the knee opening away from the body and then gently closing or lowering toward the floor. Inner knee, inner leg moving a little bit more toward the ground. So this kind of butterfly movement, open and closed with this left knee. Now, if that feels really restricted, if you have any pinchiness or always sharpness, anything electric, let's give yourself a little more space. So you could put that left foot somewhere else. You could put it on the floor on the other side of the shin. So rather than above the knee, you could put it below the knee. You could stand it on your calf muscle, anywhere else on your lower leg, and make the movement there. You could even stand on your thigh rather than on the floor in front of the thigh. Just not on your knee. Don't stand right on your knee. Or you could keep the foot where it was on the floor. So we're just butterfly winging, open and closed. Try to keep your ribs really quiet. In fact, let's take that right hand across to the left side ribs. And just let those left ribs be a little bit heavier. Notice if the back has started to arch at all. And then after a loving touch there, you could let that right arm come up, back out to the right side if that feels good. And then for these last couple of moments, let the knee or the wing stay in that open position, like the knee is pointing more skyward. You could choose to roll the head either direction either toward the left shoulder or maybe toward the right shoulder. See what feels interesting for you, for your body. And then lower the wing, lower the knee, and then stack that leg over the bottom leg and open your legs like a book to roll onto your pelvis and come back to neutral. Both feet on the floor, arms come down to the sides. Let's just pause here in between sides for a moment. You could stay in constructive rest, or you could even stretch your legs long and observe what you feel. Okay, let's try this on the second side. So again, from constructive rest, right leg like it's going to come into figure four, but actually you just let the legs lower all the way over to the left side. The outer edge of the left leg and the right foot are on the floor. Arms come out to a T. Now you know that you can move that right foot anywhere else that feels spacious, that gives you room to explore as you butterfly that leg a little bit open and a little bit so-called closed. You're just winging that knee, that whole thigh. And the pelvis might rock a little bit. Mostly we're looking for this movement to be in the hip, so the leg bone in the hip socket. Not that your spine is moving or your pelvis is rocking a whole bunch or your ribs are popping up. And this might be a good time to take that left hand and just place the hand on those right side ribs. You can give a loving rub. I'm just kind of rubbing that side of the belly, that rib cage, reminding it to stay heavy and quiet. My back doesn't need to work here. It's okay. We're doing a hip opener. And then you could take that arm back out to the left. I'm going to wing the knee a few more times. We're making space. We're lubricating. We are exploring the range, the available range in this hip socket, and nurturing a healthy range. And then a few breaths with that knee, that leg winging in the open, upright position. And you might explore the turning of the head toward either shoulder. Just let your head roll heavy on the floor. You might try out each direction and then pick your favorite. And then head comes to neutral. Bring that leg a little bit more into the closed, so-called position, and then slide it to stack over the bottom knee. And then open the legs like a book, and you will naturally roll back to neutral. Taking a little shift side to side. Arms come down. Find a neutral pelvis and either stay a couple of breaths in constructive rest or stretch your legs out long. It would be really natural for the two sides of that movement to feel quite different in sensation or even in range. We have such different stories and patterns on our two sides, so notice how you feel after that second side. Okay, we're going to end with a very small, normal bridge, kind of a standard bridge. So bring your feet about hip width, toes forward, arms down at the sides, and then press both feet down, not lifting very high here. Again, keeping the ribs really quiet, really neutral. This is more to reset the sacrum and to come back to a very centered, stable place in the pelvis after doing such an asymmetrical hip opener. Really good to come back into symmetry, back into stability in the pelvis. So it's just another moment, equal press through each foot. You could feel a little bit of cheek crease engagement here. We do want those glutes to perk up a little bit. And then slowly lower down. Let the arms open out to the sides. This is a great time. A couple minutes in Shavasana. If you do want to grab a pillow for under your head or cover up, we're just going to rest for a few minutes, longer if you have it. So you could keep it simple, or you might really tuck yourself in. Stretch your legs out long if that feels good. Rock your head side to side a couple of times. There might be a balance of the sensations in the body. We've done some really potent movements. You might have a lot of echoing of sensation from the movements. Hip mobility is directly linked to deep core support and pelvic health, pelvic floor health. So just even this simple practice is such a great way to take care of your low back, your hips, your feet, your core, your spine. So resting, knowing that you've done such a beautiful gesture of love for your body today. If you have a few more minutes, let yourself continue to rest here in Shavasana, just integrating, letting your system enjoy a little bit of downtime. And whenever it is that you're ready to transition, just remember to go soft. Slowly roll to a side, slowly press up from your side, and then take pause in a seat, any comfortable seat, right at this threshold of your practice and your day. And that's such a beautiful moment to take with you any kind of intention that you want to go out into the day with, gratitude, a prayer or wish for yourself or the world. I'm sending a deep bow to you. Thank you so much for practicing together today, and I will see you next time.